Okay. So, welcome to Bible Study Lesson 5 that you guys are part of. Alright, so today's lesson is about leadership and leading. Okay, so, simple question, can you get somewhere easily without a leader? Like creating a group or organizing something really big. If you don't have somebody that's mainly in charge, can you actually get there?
No. Look at the anarchy. They don't have
I
leadership.
don't even know what that is, but okay. Alright, so, guys, this is a pretty fantastic story. You guys are gonna like it. I laughed. Okay, so, short story. There were once 4 people. Their names were everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important task to be done, and everybody was asked to do it. Everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did. Somebody got angry because, after all, it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody should do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. So it ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did it. Get it?
You lost me.
That just blew my mind. Literally.
So, general overview of that story is just that everybody was supposed to do something, and that everybody was like, oh, well, somebody else will do it, but nobody did it, and nobody's like, well, somebody will do it, and it just kind of went on and on.
But nobody
did it.
So
Exactly.
nobody did it.
So, have you ever witnessed a scenario like this through school or church or on the news or anything like that?
Yeah.
Anybody have a specific example?
Well, I think
That you
that
can think of?
everybody should clean the house, but nobody does it. So I end up being the someone that has to do it.
Okay, that's a pretty good example. Alright, so if you don't wear a badge that says you're the leader, it's usually important that you do, but when people don't, how are people going to know you're in charge if you don't act like it?
They won't.
They won't. Exactly. So, people should realize that whether or not you're a Christian without you wearing a badge saying I'm a Christian all the time, because you should be leaders either way without being like, oh, hey, I'm a Christian, everybody. Like, they should just know by your actions and your words and the things you do. Okay, so Bibles. If somebody wants to grab 1 Timothy 4:12, and somebody else wants to grab Proverbs 11:14.
Proverbs what now?
11:14. And your 1 Timothy 4:12.
What is first?
In the back-ish.
In the back-ish? First
Proverbs what now?
11:14.
I got 412. 412, right?
Yeah, you want to read that?
Don't let anybody think less of you because you are young. Be an example of all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity.
Yeah, I'm going to read a different version of that. Let no one despise you for your youth, but set the believers an example in speech, conduct, love, faith, and purity. So, yeah. Bible pretty much says don't despise others because they're young. We're still plenty old enough to be a leader. You want to grab Proverbs 11:14?
Where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety.
Okay. And again, I'll read the simple version. Where there's no guidance, a person falls, but when an abundance of counselors, there is safety. So our world lacks solid leadership. In case you guys haven't noticed that.
Yes.
You probably don't really have to try hard to remember a hero, superhero, or president, or pretty much anybody in the quote-unquote higher authority that we look up to, even celebrities. Like, you probably don't have to think really hard, like, when the last time they messed up was and it was public.
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, Miley Cyrus, pretty much anybody. Yeah, there's a lot, which just goes to show that the leadership that should be there isn't really there. So John Maxwell, a pastor and speaker, said a couple of weeks ago, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. So the term Christian could be given the same definition. One who knows the way, actually goes, and shows the way. So, being a leader obviously isn't about having power, and a lot of people immediately get that impression. They're like, oh, I'm the leader, I'm in charge of you kind of thing. Like, as a leader of the Bible study group, I'm not like, oh, I'm in charge of you. I mean, yes, I do the lessons, but I obviously let you guys partake and give ideas and stuff like that. I'm not like in any higher authority at all. So instead, great leaders empower those valuing them to become leaders themselves, and good leaders are positive role models that value integrity, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Great leaders have courage and backbones and stand up for what's right, not what is wrong. Okay, there's a couple of questions that relate to this lesson. So what are some daily situations that you encounter where you can step up and be a leader?
School.
Okay. Megan, any idea?
At your job, in your own household, when you're out in public, and people are
Pretty
gonna
much
talk to you,
anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah, okay. So what are some of the things you think leaders struggle with the most?
Doing what's right for the better majority.
Probably like when people don't really acknowledge their leadership.
Yeah. They're like, oh, I'm the leader, but they don't really acknowledge it whatsoever.
Or put it out
the
there.
people around them don't acknowledge their leadership.
Yeah, they don't respect at all. Yeah, that's always fun. Okay, so what are ways a leader can maintain courage to do what's right when it goes against the popular opinion?
Kind of like remember that like if it's like in a leadership position in like a church or with God, like you're doing this for Him and for no one else.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing for me personally is just to remember, like, even though everybody else says to do it this way, as a leader you should know what's right, and if it helps you could pray or really think just positive things, you know. Okay, and last question, what are steps leaders can take to make sure that they're operating within God's plan for their lives instead of like somebody else's plan?
Probably like have like someone older than them that they can go to and like talk about their leadership position, like like a
Like
Paul Timothy figure.
don't always be the highest.
Yeah.
Always have somebody higher than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like people should always have like a Paul, someone who went through what they went through, without like leading them in it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna skip to the challenge now. Okay, so challenge for next week is to make a list of 3 kinds of leadership that you could choose to go somewhere in your life with those leaderships. List them for next time and how you could pursue them. Okay? Make sense? Cool. See ya.